What's going on, everybody? LK here, back at it again with another video, and today some Dragon Ball Fighters for y'all. So next Sunday I'm going to be dropping my tier list for Dragon Ball Season 3, so I'm also going back and reviewing some things that I've been thinking about Season 3 as a whole. So today I want to, since you know we've been playing for at this point like 4 months now, almost 5 months of Season 3, I wanted to share with y'all what I enjoy and what I dislike about Dragon Ball FighterZ Season 3. If you like the content I'm putting out, consider liking this video or subscribing to the channel if you already have not, or do both. It does help the channel grow and I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much. Okay, so let's start with the positives here. So Dragon Ball Season 3 I actually think did a bunch of good things. So the first thing is they made the defending player feel way better about the game overall. So what do I mean? They made 3 major changes on defense where it helps the defender a little bit more. The first one is one that we all know. They changed the snap so that you can delay or make your incoming variable. So you can come in fast or you can come in slow. This makes it difficult to guarantee to catch somebody. In the last patch, you know, you could OS a bunch of reversals. Most characters don't even have air invincible moves, so you just kind of bring them down and you get your offense. Now you kind of have to guess what they're going to do, whether or not they'll come in fast and slow. If you use a jump in normal, they can even time it so that they appear right after your normal and then punish you. If you're right, you get the follow-up offense and the defender can't really do anything, but if you're wrong, the defender gets a combo. Another thing they did is that they took almost every single type of offensive fuzzy out of the game. So between the common ones, like this, bringing them down to the ground, like this, and then some of the more character specific ones, there was a way that you could fuzzy, offensive fuzzy, last patch where when you are landing, like a frame before you land, you could be hit like high-low. So Piccolo and Majin Buu were the ones who used this the most, so they took all of these variations out of the game. It definitely helps the defender because most of the time when these offensive fuzzies come into play is when you do a type of knockdown that they can't really vary their tech, like level 3, or when you snap them. The last thing is something we've shown on this channel a lot before, where they changed the assist regen timing so that you basically have to give the defender enough time to tag for your assist to come back. So this makes it so that characters that have like really good staggers, like Kid Buu or the Gohan, if they continue to stagger you like that after they use their assist, they're kind of overextending and the risk return is a little bit more even for the defender. Now the other thing, of course, is the multiple assists. So they did a good job not just giving characters another assist, right, which is what I think most people thought they were going to do. Before Season 3, I know a lot of people, especially casuals, wanted the 3 assists. Especially echoing from like Marvel vs. Capcom, but most players thought just the nature of the game and how it's kind of like a simplified version, we were expecting maybe for them to add 1 assist, so the way they actually went about it is pretty good. Because of the way they have the A, B, and C assists, so they have 2 unique moves basically. So in let's say Trunks' case, he has Change the Future and Masenko, and then the C assist is one of 3 types of assists that the devs have identified. And of course, disclaimer, this is just a theory, but the devs have identified these 3 types of assists as the best or most commonly used or most commonly seen in competition assists, that are beams, block stun assists, and anti-air assists, and that is the C assist. So it guarantees that every character has at least one of those 3 super good ones. So with these 2 things in mind, it does a combination of things. One, it makes the general populace feel like they can pick basically any character, which is pretty much true. To be honest, in Season 2, I thought it was only up until like competitive play that you had to really think about like, you know, there are about like 15 characters I could pick from if I want to build a winning team. But in this patch, it's probably like 30. There's 40 characters right now, so there's probably like 10 characters who are like a little bit under the rest. It also addresses really common complaints about the game from a defensive perspective. Even though if you break these situations down, they're actually not that bad. For example, what actually being snapped means, or how offensive fuzzy actually affects the game. The general populace complain about this a lot. So, I mean, these are the people who are buying the game and spending money on the game. It's pretty important that these things get addressed, and it does help people feel better about playing the game when they're in a bad position. So personally, I think it was fine to make the defender stronger. I definitely feel weird about them doing all three of those things. So for example, like if they just changed snap and the assist regen and left offensive fuzzy alone, maybe that would be okay. Or they got rid of offensive fuzzy but left snap alone, maybe that would be okay. But I feel like them doing all three was kind of too much personally. The offensive player generally gets nerfed since the game comes out. Like a lot of things have been taken out, like how things hit cross up, now snap, now offensive fuzzies. Lots of properties of moves get changed, or when a character gets added, they make sure it's really hard to do offense with the move. So for instance, like this, like you specifically need high block stun assist, like a 50+ frame block stun assist, so that you get this into high-low. They are really trying to keep the mix-up and offense down. Another thing I really dislike about Season 3 is this. I think this makes the game way mashier, because the general response to Jab Dragon Rush would be to mash. So what the game doesn't like is when a character has like a straight up 50-50, unless you're using like some crazy resource. Again, like this requires high block stun, right? What's much more common is doing something where the defender has one response where they could address it, but it's like hard to see, or like you have to react quickly. So in base Vegeta's case, it would be a move like this. So it's 22 frames, so you can't generally do a block string straight into it. There's going to be a gap. The defender can like reflect or mash if they want, but if you think they're going to mash, then you put something else in there. That's kind of what Jab DR gives to everybody, but the game is full of that already. So I really don't understand why they would add this. Besides giving you know, lower level players another opportunity to like open you up, but for the most part, as we discussed on this channel, a lot of characters don't have good solo offense, and like this doesn't really add to it. Besides, if the person hasn't practiced against Dragon Rush, I just think it makes the game a little bit sloppier personally. And the last thing is definitely limit break. So we've been playing with it since like March basically. I think of this as like half a sparking already. So if you're saving your spark for your last character, as we all know, the limit break will stack a little bit with your sparking. When you get limit break, you come with a bar. So it's like you already have sparking to turn the game around, but then you also have limit break. Limit break, you do 20% when you don't have sparking. Some characters benefit from this a lot. Characters like Broly, Broly, Yamcha benefit from it a ton. Base Goku also is another one. They added limit break because they felt like people had problems coming back, but the game already has a mechanic to swing. Actually, technically two. One that's really common that we see in every game. Another one that is pretty rare. Let's be honest, pretty rare. Sparking really changes the shift of the match. So I feel like limit break is basically there for their thinking is if the player loses the sparking war, then they still need something to help them win the game. But if you lose the sparking war, you kind of, I'm not gonna say you deserve to lose, but like you've had so many chances. Like you can heal in this game by swapping your characters. Like you have something that not only heals you but makes your offense way better, lets you get in, does more damage. You get all these bonuses from using it. Almost everybody except for like the top players of the game uses it in a defensive fashion, so you're using it straight up as a comeback mechanic. It definitely upsets me that they decided to add another one, even if it's more subtle than sparking. I definitely from playing have not really enjoyed it that much. It benefits my team, but I built this team with that in mind. Overall though, I do think the game is in a good place. I think this is what they wanted Season 2 to kind of be like, because to be honest, before GT Goku came out, a lot of people were playing pretty unique teams, experimenting with the characters and stuff like that. Once GT got added to the game, the game basically dropped to like 15-ish characters were viable for like high level play. As in, and my definition of viable is, oh, you could win like some big, super big tournament, whatever. Making people feel like they can do more in the game is definitely a good thing. I just don't totally agree with how they did it, but you know, these things happen. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. Like and subscribe if you feel like it, and I'll see you next time. Peace out.